What's the deal, YouTube? What's the deal, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So it is that lovely time of year again. We are about to talk about my top 5 receivers for the 2015-2016 season. You know what? But before I get started with that, let me just say this shit. This video is being made August the 23rd, 2015. Right now, teams are playing their second preseason game. Last year, I made a similar video, similar timing. I had people show up and ask me where the fuck was Odell Beckham, and I'm looking at the comments like, how in the fuck can Odell Beckham be in my top 5 receivers and he has not even played a game yet? So please pay attention to the date on this video. This is more so of a prediction going into the season. This is not accounting for all throughout the season stats. This is a prediction video, if anything. But anyway, let's start with my top 5 receivers for 2015. And while I'm speaking of Odell Beckham, let me just give him an honorable mention right off the top. He's an honorable mention. AJ Green. There's a couple other receivers that I'm going to place in the honorable mention category. I'm not going to put a receiver in my top 5 for one good season. That's all I'm saying. We don't know how he's going to come out and play this season. Teams now have more footage on him. They have more film on him. We've seen players go out and have a great season, come back in the second season, and not look so great. Anyway, without further ado, let's dive right into my top 5 receivers of 2015-2016. Starting with the number 5 receiver is going to be Jordy Nelson. That's right, Jordy Nelson, the best receiver for the Green Bay Packers. He also has Randall Cobb on that team. He's got the best quarterback in football throwing it to him. He's also got a beast of a running back in that backfield. Jordy Nelson has all the tools, great hands, decent speed. He can go. He's a great route runner. He can get away from the coverage. Jordy Nelson is my number 5 receiver on the top 5 receivers 2015-2016. Next, number 4. My number 4 receiver on this list is Demaryius Thomas. That's right, Demaryius Thomas, the 6'3" receiver from the Denver Broncos. He's been thrown to by Peyton Manning. I don't know who the hell is in that backfield. They've been kind of iffy in the backfield for a while. He also has Emmanuel Sanders. They lost their tight end, which means that Demaryius Thomas is going to probably get even more targets. He's either going to get more targets or he's going to get a hell of a lot more coverage, because now people don't have to worry about that great tight end going over the middle. But Peyton Manning has a way of making players better, and I think whoever is over the middle will, be a lot better if they were playing with an unexperienced quarterback. So Peyton Manning going to Demaryius Thomas. Demaryius Thomas is my number 4 receiver on this list. My number 3 receiver on this list is a bit of a surprise, because this is the first time in 4 years he's not been my number 1 receiver. The number 3 receiver on this list is Megatron. That's right, I'm putting Megatron at number 3 this year. Had some injury issues. Definitely starting to slow down with his age. And this might be the last time I see Megatron in my top 5. Unless I see a resurgence. He's lingering, because next year, if Odell Beckham has another great season like he has, he's going to move into the top 5, and I'm going to have to bump somebody. So if Megatron keeps doing what he's doing right now, I could definitely see Megatron dropping out of the top 5, but you never know. He's so big, he's so physical, he's so fast, he's such a huge target, but he needs to stay fucking healthy. He needs to stay healthy, and he needs to come up big, especially in the playoffs, to help get this Detroit Lion team over the snide. But that's why I have Megatron. Definitely, he's been my number 1 for the past 3 years, but I think there's 2 receivers that have definitely passed him right now. Anyway, speaking of number 2 right now is a receiver. He is a great threat. 6'2", 6'3", a big body receiver. He plays in Dallas. He plays with Tony Romo. You already know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Dez Bryant. That's right, Dez Bryant is my number 2 receiver over there. We don't know who's going to be in the backfield, which means that Dez Bryant is going to have to take on more pressure. It would have been better if they would have brought back DeMarco Murray. Dez Bryant might have been my number 1 if they brought back DeMarco Murray. And I say that because you stick DeMarco Murray in the backfield and the play action becomes a completely different animal than if you stick Randall back there. And Randall might go out there and light the house on fire. You never know. But DeMarco Murray was a proven commodity, whereas Randall is not that. So predicting this going into the season, I have to see Randall as a significantly lesser threat than what DeMarco Murray coming off that big-ass season would have had. So if I stick Randall back there as opposed to DeMarco Murray, it's less. So that's why Dez Bryant is my number 2. He's my number 2 running wide receiver on the top 5 2015-2016. And my number 1, the number 1, the number 1, the number 1, the number 1! My number 1 receiver this year is electric. He's fast. He can take you to the house from any point. He's great in the open field. He's a good route runner. He takes the tops off of defenses. He has Big Ben Roethlisberger to throw to him. I'm talking about Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is a beast of a wide receiver, and he's consistent. He's consistent with the stats that he has been putting up. I neglected him last year. I don't know how in the hell I missed him last year. He should have been in the top 5 last year, but I'm rewarding him this year. And the fact that he has Bell back there. He's got a proven running back in the backfield, so teams can't just stick their safeties out there and not pay attention to the box. They have to pay attention to the box when you have Bell out there. So that is the reason why I will choose him as my number 1 over Dez Bryant. Even though Dez Bryant does have a better offensive line, he just doesn't have the running back out there. The running back, I don't care what anybody says, the running back plays a huge factor with those wide receivers. It is the difference between a safety sitting in the box and a safety over the top of a wide receiver. Plain and simple. So, I have Antonio Brown as my number 1 receiver. Let's recap this list. We have Jordy Nelson at number 5. We have Demaryius Thomas at number 4. Calvin Johnson comes in at number 3. The number 2 wide receiver is Dez Bryant. And the number 1 receiver in the NFL this year, Antonio Brown. Stay tuned. We will be talking about my top 5. Top 5. You couldn't see my hand. My hand was way the fuck over there. Talking about my top 5 running backs of 2015. And then we'll go to the top 5 quarterbacks. We'll break every single list down. We'll start the discussion as fucking usual. Trendsetter. Number 1 Miami Dolphin YouTuber out there. Peace.